Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Tomas. I am so excited for today's video. It's a little bit of a different one for me. Today we're going to be sitting down and I am going to be giving you 10 tips to help you design your space. I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that help me when I am designing my own spaces or other people's spaces, some little tips and tricks of things that help me, and things that can help you take your house and turn it into a place to call home. So without further ado, I have my list right here. Let's go ahead and get started with number 1. So point number 1, start small. The thing that helps me the most when I am redesigning a space is, in order to not be overwhelmed, I like to start small. Think one room at a time, one project at a time. Say you are working in your apartment, choose the room that you would like to start with and then go from there. Sometimes when we want to jump into a renovation or a makeover, we just want to get everything done at the same time, and we can be overwhelmed with a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas and things that we want to get done, and it can be extremely overwhelming. So sitting down, looking through the rooms in your home and choosing one to start with is the perfect place to go off of. My space is a space that is constantly growing, and I am constantly doing changes into my apartment, whether that's my room, my bathroom, my living room, my dining room, wherever it may be, and it's constantly evolving. But I do like to focus on the little things first and choose one room to work at a time, instead of wanting to tackle all of these projects at once. So say you are someone who is just moving into a new home or a new apartment, choose that one room that you would like to go off of, begin there, and once you get that done, you'll feel such a level of accomplishment, and that will give you a much clearer head to go ahead and move through the rest of your space. For my tip number 2, it's a really big one, and that is defining your color palette. Defining your color palette can be something super simple that makes such a big change and will help you pinpoint something to then design your room off of. I recommend looking at color swatches, paint swatches, looking through inspiration and seeing which shades, which tones, which colors really resonate with you. I am someone who loves deeper, moodier colors. I love neutrals, but then I also love to experiment with some richer colors. Right here in my bedroom, I painted my walls with this beautiful plum shade. I love doing accents with deep greens and deep reds. Figuring out what colors speak to you can really be a good way to start your makeover. That way you can have a color palette that connects all the little elements in your space, whether that be paint on the walls, on the trim, on the door, or decorative accents, decorative elements, furniture, your bigger furniture items, your smaller, your rugs, your fabrics, all of these things. Having a color palette to really bring everything together is going to help you in the long run when designing your space. And you also want to make sure that you don't choose 2 or 3 colors and then repeat those colors throughout the entire space, because you want your spaces to feel very curated and designed and thoughtful. So if you do everything just really monotoned in one color, it can then lead to something looking very sterile and very flat. So don't be afraid to experiment and mix, whether that's on your patterns, on your textures. Mixing all of these different elements is really going to help that color palette that you choose come together. Coming in at number 3, we have choosing your priorities. This kind of goes hand in hand with the first point where I said to choose one room instead of trying to tackle every single space at once. Choosing your priorities is really going to help you make sure that you know not only which spaces in your home have the most value to you, but also which aspects of your home are crucial to go hand in hand with your lifestyle and the way you live within your space. So you want to think about which spaces in your home you're going to get the most use out of, which spaces you spend the most time in, but also once you are focusing on a specific room, choosing within that room your priorities. So whether that is furnishings or decorative elements or architectural interest, think what your priority is within that room. For this, it is really important that before you begin any project, you set a budget. Budgeting and making sure that you know where you stand in terms of how much money you want to spend on this makeover and redesigning of your space is really going to help you then choose those ideas that you do want to go through with and which priorities you want to work on first. And I know that sometimes thinking of a budget can be a little bit overwhelming, but collecting all of your ideas and trying to see how much money you were willing to spend within this transformation, that will really help you then organize what projects you want to get through with. And budgeting brings me to my fourth point, which is splurging versus saving. Choosing what pieces really matter to you and which pieces you are willing to splurge on and which pieces you are okay with saving some money with. For example, I recommend that when you're furnishing a room, whether that is a living room, a bedroom, wherever it may be, choosing to splurge on the bigger items that are going to be used every single day. That way, you know that it is really good quality and it's gonna last you for years and years to come, and you're not gonna be forced to swap it every few months. Say you are designing a living room. Your couch, your sofa can be a really good element to choose to splurge on. A really good quality sofa is gonna last you for so many years. Sometimes buying those more affordable options online ends up being more expensive in the long run because you have to change them more often because the quality is lower. But then you can go ahead and maybe save some money with the decorative elements or the coffee table, some decorative accents, trays, things like that are spaces where you can save so much money on. So thinking which items in your space it is worth for you to splurge on and which items you are good with saving is really going to help you create that balance in your budget. And number 5, we have something that you can do super easily anytime. You can do it right now, and that is getting inspired. Creating a mood board, going through Pinterest, going through YouTube, going through Instagram, seeing what speaks out to you, which spaces jump out of you and really connect with your interior design style, and getting that inspiration online can really help you figure out which kind of spaces you would like to curate in your own home. Now, it doesn't just have to be online. I love using interior design books for personal inspiration. I always like sharing them in my channel, flipping through those pages, whether that is interior design books or even interior design magazines, AD, things like that, are really going to help you select those elements and those styles and maybe give you an idea of what your personal style is and give you some ideas of little projects that you would like to do in your own space. The next point is look at what you already have. Sometimes when we are redesigning our space or we're moving into a new space, we think that we need to buy everything new. We need to completely swap everything. Our styles maybe change, so we need to get rid of all the things we had and get everything new. However, pausing and taking a step back and looking at the things that you already have and realizing which elements in your space are actually working with you and some things that you would like to keep is really going to help you not only save money in the long run, but it's going to help you create that finished look much faster because you don't need to go ahead and get new things that you already have. So I really recommend walking through your house, walking through your apartment, maybe with like a notebook or somewhere to write down all of those elements that jump out of you and you're like, I love that, I would like to keep that. Maybe I could make this work. If there is a sliver of hope, if you think that you can make it work within your interior design style and with your new design space, give it a go. Sometimes what we already have is what will work best for the room. So take a step back, look around at what you already own, and go from there. And that is the perfect jumping off point for my tip number 7, which is rearranging. Sometimes we want to jump into a room transformation and completely swap everything and change everything, but rearranging things in your space can have a huge impact and can make it look completely renovated without having to buy absolutely anything. Rearranging the layout of your furniture is really gonna give the space a new life. So if you have the possibility, say in your room, to move your bed to another wall, try to move the pieces around in the living room, swap the direction of the couch or the accent chairs, try to play with the layout of the furniture and rearranging things, and you will see that this can actually have a humongous impact in your space without having to spend any money or get any new things. It is something that can sometimes be overlooked, but something so simple that requires no extra effort. At number 8, I have lighting your home properly. The way you light your spaces can have a huge impact on the way you feel within those spaces. My number 1 tip that I always say is to never use overhead lighting. Those built-in lights that are in most apartments, I always have those off. Having accent lighting, and I've talked about lighting so many times, but having accent lighting, different heights, different styles of lighting can really create a lot of dimension and interest in your space and can make everything look so much more thoughtfully designed. When we are looking at designer spaces online, we usually can tell how beautifully lit everything is. There's a lot of dimension with the lighting, and it is very thoughtful. I recommend always having 3 to 5 sources of light per space. That will really create that dimension and that visual interest for your eye. And if you have a space that you feel like it is missing one little thing, lighting could be something that you add that creates a huge impact. We are almost to the end. Coming in at number 9, I have sourcing locally. Sometimes going around your neighborhood and going around the area where you live at and trying to go into furniture stores or thrift stores or antique stores that are around your home will give you so much more inspiration than looking online. This can also lead you to supporting small businesses and local family-owned businesses, which is always amazing. So I really recommend just getting out there and trying to get inspiration locally. Drive around, walk around, look at the neighborhood, look at the houses around you, the stores, go in, and you can always find some really unique treasures in your hometown's antique store or thrift store. There will always be so many unique pieces that you cannot find online. So sourcing locally is something that I always recommend when working on a new space. And last but not least is to be really thoughtful with your styling. Styling do's and don'ts. There are so many videos into how to style specific areas in your home, whether that be a console, a credenza, a vanity, a desk, whatever it may be, a bookshelf. This video is really going into detail into how to style each specific thing and area in your home and can be a lot of help. Sometimes less is more. My one thing that I recommend is being very intentional with the pieces that you're using for styling. For example, we can have a console table and we think that putting a lot of little things, it's gonna make it look better. But sometimes taking everything out and focusing on sections. I like to work, for example, in threes when I'm doing a console or a credenza. Working with the corners and with the center of my furniture piece is really gonna help you create a beautiful balance that works well to the eye. So be very thoughtful when styling your spaces. Try to look at inspiration again online, and sometimes seeing what other people are doing, designers, how they are styling their own spaces, can help you then think of how you can arrange the elements that you already have purchased for your space to make sure that it is thoughtfully styled and curated and well designed. But yes, that is going to be it for today's video. Such a fun one, quick little video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys got some insightful and good tips that will help you in the future when tackling your own spaces. Definitely let me know if you apply any of these tips when working in your own homes. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite tip was and things that you might think you will take with you and try to incorporate in your own home. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.